well, taking a chance and attempting some 2-day or 30-hour hay on about 2 acres. This field that's under an acre, and one the other side of that fence that's maybe 1.5 acres or so. Supposed to be nice and sunny today. It's noon and we've got all this happening up above. No showers on the radar other than west of us, but we'll have to see. They promised a nice sunny day today. If that doesn't happen, I don't think there's a chance of baling this tomorrow. But these are kind of the 2 smaller fields with this cluster of 4 fields right here. And I think I would have made myself crazy trying to get all 4 of these fields in a 3-day stretch that's coming up. Whereas the 2 bigger ones, I know I can stagger them. But I hit limits on wagons, you know, doing 2.5 wagons there, half wagon here, 1.5 wagons there. It gets difficult to put it all together versus just a larger field. So we'll see. I'm ready to lose this if that happens. Or, you know, if rain happens, if I can't get it in. But, you know, I think hopefully with the showers they're talking about Friday and then a good stretch after that, that there'd be something salvageable of this, even if it does get a little wet. You know, something discounted, something like that. But anyway, this little field actually does have some really nice finer grasses in it. So it's the one on the other side of the fence there that's a bit weedy or a little funky. Kind of remains to be seen how many years I'll keep doing that, especially with picking up other fields next year, potentially. Oh, raindrop, that's fun. Yep, here comes a little bit of rain. Won't hurt it, but that's the opposite of sun. Blarg. So I feel like something's still just not tracking right on this thing. I mean, I should not have that side so much tighter than that side. Oh, I have a spare hour and a half because the sun's not coming out. I think what I'm going to do is, as much as I really don't want to, take this belt off and flip it around and then see if this bottom roller actually has some slack to move back and forth. Maybe I didn't center that well enough. So we'll see if that makes a difference. Well, I like that a little bit better. Got it tracking ever so slightly to the right on the top and a little bit to the left on the bottom. Turned out that everything's tight, so there's no slop back and forth. And I think I'm reassured that flipping the belt over didn't just make it track the other way, so the belt's not. So I do think that's a little better. Put all that there. The bottom belt's not perfect. That's progress. Sun's only really been out for a couple hours. A lot of good crisp with the fine grass. And then some green snot, you know, that were wet when I mowed it. Come back and brush hog that stuff. Right about where I drew the line last year, so it was too wet in there. A lot of green. A lot of cheddar just wasn't even getting. Mrs. Fox is at it again. Same neighborhood. I think they just hear me and come running over. This field's all mowed and tedded out, and the sun is peeking through some clouds. I'm gonna leave this for the rest of the day and hopefully go bale those other 2 small fields right there. 60 off this little field isn't bad. Not bad at all. Well, just about 180 in today off these 2 smaller fields. Not nearly as nice color as I would have liked from them. I kind of had to let it sit an extra day because there were some really wet green wads buried in the hay yesterday. I was hoping to bale and just not quite enough sun. So yeah, but it's nice fine grass and dry as can be, nice solid bales. For a chancy batch, I guess I'll take it. Well, as far as barn stacking experiences go, this is pretty easy going. It's nice to have different wagons that each have their own strength. Being able to unload out the side when I'm stacking right there is pretty nice. And I do have to say, these are about the first bales I've had to stack in a barn that I'm holding on to in about 2,000 bales. So that's a success. Did I mention I love this barn? It's a bit of a haul to get wagons up here, but can fit 3 in here, backed up if I have to. And what a space for stacking. Plus up there, they're gonna be fixing the roof with a couple pieces of slate. Yeah, it's pretty nice that we put so little in it so far since it's left off wagon. Well, here's that batch from a few weeks ago. It feels like both longer ago and shorter ago that the field above the cemetery that the moisture started to creep up. So I brought this wagon up here, let it hang out for a couple days, stacked it up here in the loft, and these bales not only feel fine, but I think they are beautiful. But I think this was the right barn to put it in rather than the one that holds on to moisture. Just let them, I don't know if they sweat out, aired out, or if they were just totally fine to begin with. But some nice early hay with a lot of good color to it. Oh, sometimes drive myself crazy parsing out these small batches and keeping them separate and keeping an eye on it, but it always beats risking sending somebody home with funky hay. So still glad I did it, and goodness, these are looking pretty beautiful right about now. Well, this field sure dried a lot yesterday. Once it starts to dry down, it looks pretty good. I mean, right when you mow it, all that bit of dead orchard grass in it looks a little scary, but there's a lot of nice finer grasses. Boy, if we didn't have a nice 3-day stretch here, I could rush and try to bale some of this today, but I've got people lined up to come and get it off wagon tomorrow, so I'll just take it nice and easy, gentle tedding now, rake it midday, and go mow the other field that's up there. Reason why on these normal years, or at least not super wet years, I wait to do these. wait, I just do on the field first. I'm constantly doing it. But these minor grasses maintain their palatability and quality a lot later into the season than stuff like orchard grass does. Satisfying. Talk about floofy. I really love how these finer grasses head up. Well, that'll be ready tomorrow. Heck, it could be ready today, but yeah, it's ready tomorrow. Have people coming to get it. I think I've already said all this. Just looks nice. Well, it's barely afternoon, literally. This field is ready to go. Still need to rake the one up there. I gave that a light heading around 9:30. So, you know, I could rush off and rake that and then have it sit for until tomorrow morning. Or I could put together a couple wagons here, then go rake that. I think I'm going to do the former since this is ready. And that's, you know, doing well, but it's still drying. So we'll see. Usually only need 3 wagons on this field, but that edge up there gets pretty steep. So what the heck, use 4. Don't pack them crazily. Still have to exit the field up that ramp anyway. Coming together beautifully, but my throttle maxed out is not quite hitting 540. Engine's not struggling at all. So I think the linkage in the throttle might be out of adjustment somewhere. I'm going to pull into the shade and try to figure out. I wasn't stopping at the upshifting for now. Well, the good news is the bales are beautiful. 24 from the first time around, which will get smaller. But yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I can tweak that throttle. I mean, it'll still bale at 1500 RPM, but it's a little weird. Well, the good news is it's just something loose in here in the linkage. That much throttle movement. That's what's happening out. Well, that took entirely too long, but part of the linkage had popped apart in here. So I put some really crude fixes on there with some, hose clamp, zip tie, basically trying to keep the socket over the ball, but at least I know that I can adjust it here if I really have to. It's been an hour's delay. Still haven't raked the other field. Got to bale this first. Time to go. All right, 2 wagons. Bet there's maybe another load and a half here. But I'm gonna take a pause and go rake that other field because that's very much ready. I need to tee myself up for tomorrow. And I have enough of a head start for the customers coming in a little over an hour, so this should be good. Break. Here's Monday here. Yeah, this was one of the few fields last year we didn't get to until mid-August. That field right there was September 17th for first cut. Super wet. On a dry year like this, saving my bacon. Yeah. It's Mary and Chris's second cut growing down there. They took first cut probably first week of June. Second's looking nice, but it's not very tall. That's pretty much what we're seeing everywhere. So I'm really focusing on getting first cut done, but I'm a little worried about what's going to be left for second cut at this point. But it's only second week of July, so plenty of time. Just want to appreciate the view from right here as I'm coming back with the wagon. There's the field we baled. You can't see it very well, but that's the field we're doing tomorrow. Looks a lot nicer when there's not glare through a dirty windscreen. This is ready at 11:40 a.m. Yeah, just gotta move the baler, another wagon. I think I'll start. What the heck? wagon 1, wagon 2, putting on wagon 3 to do the weird steep part over there. Bet there'll be 3 wagons here. There's the 4,000 bale mark for the year, even including the couple broken ones we've had and the test bales earlier. Yeah, safely hit 4,000. That's feels pretty good. I'm happy to say that I have maybe an hour of downtime today. Field's all tatted out, equipment's parked, wagon's empty, mower's unhooked. Yeah, I'm gonna sit in the shade, look at Mount Monadnock, etc. Pretty nice. Well, 2 things arrived in the mail yesterday. One is the swath board kit to put on the mower to, when you mow, it mounts about here, kicks the hay inwards and leaves a bigger gap between passes, which might help with that strip issue that I'm having. Give more space for this end of the mower to ride through on just clear stubble on the next pass, see if that makes a difference. But the other thing that arrived was the solution Vermeer has for that same problem, which is an axle or wheel relocation kit. So basically, it's a little bit of surgery, but you take this wheel off, take the hub apart, put this new spindle in there that would go through, and it doesn't actually bolt, or it bolts differently, but it would put the wheel in this space to keep the wheel the heck away from the edge of unmowed grass if you're not quite getting a clean cut. So this project is going to be in the off season. I'm not about to take this wheel apart, take the bearing apart. It says right in the instructions you might need a new seal. That's not included. That's not a mid-season project. This is tolerable for now. But I am really curious to put the swath board on, especially before doing our very last batch of first cut, just to see if that makes a difference. So we'll see. Well, there it is. Don't mind the board holding up the tarp. Yeah, we'll see how this does. I find the bracket placement a little bit weird. I mean, both of these discs turn counterclockwise, so they push material in. But in really thick stuff, I still wonder if it's going to get a little built up on there. It's sort of a funny choice. But, you know, I like the looks of how far that'll kick that out. The swath board itself pivots and can contour the ground, but bottoms out there, so it won't dig in, hopefully. The only downside is that wheel relocation kit absolutely is not compatible with this. So it's definitely one or the other, either swath board or moving the wheel. Curious to see how the swath board does first. I'm more inclined to do that than I am move the wheel to the inside of that frame. Well, I watched all the weather people flip today over to being mostly cloudy, but we've had actually some pretty nice sun this morning. Top of this is dry. I'll flop it over, and I don't think it'll take long for any dampness in the bottom to get off of it. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll bale it regardless of what clouds do this afternoon. Well, that's a regrowth. Hit that rock. Nope, right on top of it. Well, that's all flopped over. Hazy sun anyway, it's better than overcast. Nice breeze right now, gentle, but this stuff feels pretty good. A lot of nice Timothy in there. If you don't look at the brown orchard grass and focus on that, it's not bad. So I'll give this to maybe about 1 o'clock or so, just to let any dampness air out and go from there. So far. Well, believe it or not, this field's already been regrowing for about 3.5 or 4 weeks. So we're gonna get some nitrogen down on it with a chance of pop-up storms this afternoon that keeps diminishing. So rolling dice. Well, I got these 3 smaller fields spread too. These ones actually, the regrowth looks a lot nicer. Not where I'm parked, but out in the field. So I'm seeing radar and storms going on other sides. They're backing off the chance even more this afternoon. I might have just spread this all not to get a nice rain. But I'm gonna go mow more hay, I think, and that way, either way, I'll win something and I'll lose something. Now that is more like it. This swath board is making a difference. Taking that swath in about a foot. Not sure if people can see it, but it's nice. Super crisp edge. Oh, I'm glad I got this. Well, that swath board did a nice job. Not perfect stubble, but that's okay. So much Timothy in this. Oh, I'm very reassured. This stuff's beautiful. You know, I mean, for first cut on July 21st. Heck. Microclimate. Okay, the verdict is I like the swath board. Yep. That did a nice job. We'll see what it's like to tet it out, but it's going to kick it in another foot. Yeah, at least a foot. Tedder should grab it nicely. Well, here we go. 1 o'clock. This stuff should be in good shape. It's possible I have to flop these couple of windrows down by the shade line uphill. I'll start a little further in on this side. Well, 209 off the other field way up there. This field's, yeah, it was a little dry. I think the yield's not going to be awesome. Definitely fit on one wagon. I don't know, I bet there's less than 100 here. But put it together and then call it a wrap on first cut. I'm not sure what it means to have the very last bale of first cut be broken. I think the string didn't feed through. I don't know if I'm going to deal with this today.